Hey everybody, Mark over here at Twanger's Turntable. I hope you're all doing well and this finds you all well. Um, Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, thanks for stopping by, checking out, taking the time. It's much appreciated, as is with all those who are returning and have been continually supporting me. It is very much appreciated. I try and reciprocate, share the love when I can. The reality is I'm not on here nearly as much as maybe I would like to be. But in some cases, maybe that's a blessing in disguise, because this is not really my forte kind of thing. I mean, if I want to, rewind the tape when I was younger, playing music, sharing music was something I always enjoyed doing and aspired to doing. But for whatever reason, life happens. It didn't transpire. So this is a way for me to share that love of my music, and as many in the VC do, and do it quite well. It's certainly not I'm not as nearly as proficient with it. Just articulating sometimes the things that I want to say doesn't come naturally to me. But I try and do it. I try and stay true to what I like and who I am, and I hope I can capture that in this video. So what I'm doing today is just continuing that thread that Gary had started over at Physical Format Rock and Roll. Cheers, Gary. And I got my old PEI mug. A continuation of 5 overplayed songs that we never tire of. It was a thread Gary started. The last video I did I called it Ep.4. It was featuring Iron Maiden, because what I want to do is keep that thread going. I really enjoy this. There's so many songs I could do. Who knows? So many videos I could do on so many bands and so many songs that it's really infinite, really. I mean, perhaps not technically, but it feels like it is. So I focused on Iron Maiden on that one. 5 songs plus one, an honorable mention. I'm going to do the same with this. So I'm trying to keep this intro relatively short, and I want to dedicate this video to a lot of my friends from back home, the ones I hung out with during those formative years, and even they'll know who they are. I'm not going to start listing names, but they'll know who they are, specifically with certain bands and certain songs that I compile in these little videos that I do. There'll be people it'll stand out for, and so this is dedicated to those people, and I don't get to see you guys nearly often enough. It's kind of the same way with my family. It's not like I single anybody out that I don't see. I just for whatever reason it doesn't work out that way. So some of these people I haven't seen in 30 years. But life happens. So back to what I'm doing here. So this is going to feature Metallica on this. This will be episode 4, 5 overplayed songs by Metallica that I never get tired of, And so I tried to make this video so that it might appeal to both Metallica fans, true and true, all the way right through from the beginning. It doesn't matter when you jumped on Metallica and became a fan, whether it was the Black Album or whether it was their debut album or No Life Till Leather. Even if you happen to know of Metallica right from the get-go with the McGovney and Mustaine, and that certainly wouldn't have been me, but not far off. So I'm trying to appeal to a wide range here. So many people jumped on during that the Black Album in 91 when they blew up and they were the biggest band in the world, really. So, but I'm going to start with their first album, their debut, and the one I chose off of their debut. And I will say this, it sounds like a broken record, no pun intended, but I could choose any song off of any of these albums. There was a period where Metallica, they never lost me. They just they didn't have the same appeal to me that they did in those early days. And yes, I'm looking at you, Load, Reload, and that period in the 90s. I like Saint Anger, but none of those albums really did it for me the way the early stuff did it. But to me, in the last decade to 15 years, I do have that that feeling back that I, not to the same degree, because I'm in a different stage in my life where nothing really moves me that way like it did when I was, 14, 15, 16, through your teens, the 16s, if I may use an old Desolation Boulevard reference, another one of my favorites. So yeah, I'm starting with the first album, and the song I'm choosing off of that is Seek and Destroy. So, and what I've been doing with these videos is I will do a little needle drop. There may be two versions of this video, depending whether it gets through, where I'll try and keep those little needle drops short, but I may also do the whole damn song and then just put it in a playlist. We'll see how it goes, but we'll start with Seek and Destroy. And so the next one in their catalog is Ride the Lightning, 1984. And I chose the most popular song, I would argue, on this album is For Whom the Bell Tolls. And I chose that song specifically for that reason. Like I say, I'm trying to appeal to a broad audience here of Metallica. Those, maybe some of you have never heard this early stuff, and even for those of you who have and are diehards. I almost went with Call of Cthulhu, but I could have gone with any song on here. I love this whole album. There isn't a song on here I don't like and that doesn't speak to me and move me, just because of the nostalgic value, but also this is around the time I was introduced to Metallica. I lived in a pretty small village. I won't go into a whole lot of details. PEI, home sweet home. Even got my little, the village I grew up in is on this mug. And that's why this mug is so awesome. So yeah, there was this guy that would come home in the summertime from Toronto, and he had a huge catalog of music, stuff that was at the time obscure to me. Hellhammer, Exciter. God, there's so many that I just escapes me right now, but a lot of stuff. And one of them was including Metallica. And so I got a cassette made with the first album, Kill 'Em All, and Ride the Lightning. But then not long after, I did go out and I got this, and I've been a Metallica fan ever since. But yeah, so I went with For Whom the Bell Tolls on this one. Fade to Black is on here. There's everything on it. And I mean, just the sound of this from their first, what a progression to me, where this band was really heading. But it's amazing. I'll leave a lot of the other commentary out of it, and just we'll drop the needle on this one. I hope you enjoy it. It's For Whom the Bell Tolls from 1984, Ride the Lightning. Next up is the next album up, and of course, it's where they really blew up. I guess from a Metallica fan point of view, when they really blew up, they really came into their own. And in the metal world, there isn't a metal fan who would not know about Master Puppets. I'd argue maybe today that may have changed. I don't know. I don't follow the metal scene the way I used to, but this was a game changer. And I don't know. I mean, I can listen to almost anything and find something good about it, and I don't necessarily like to speak negatively about anything, so I refrain from that as much as possible. And I would suggest there's lots of people maybe who might shit on some of this stuff for one reason or the other. I'll leave that to them. That's not my bag. But this album, when it came out, I still remember it's one of those monumental albums that came out. And of course, 1986. I'm 18 years old, and this comes out, and right off the bat, it's like, wow, okay. So from Ride the Lightning to this seemed like a huge leap forward, and it was. I mean, who's kidding who? But so I chose Disposable Heroes off this. I could choose again any track off here. I almost went with the title track. That's a killer one. My buddy Rhett, he did one, and I think he went with Welcome Home Sanitarium. I was going to do that until I watched his video, so I'm trying to change it up a little bit. But some of them, I mean, you can't help but having similar. If you like Metallica, I don't know if you're going to tire of any of their songs. But Disposable Heroes, I can play this album, and I don't get tired of any of these songs. So I chose that one just because I had to choose one. So there it is. I hope you enjoy it. Let's drop it on Disposable Heroes. Next up, yep, it's the one that came after. Of course, we had the garage days. Oh, I thought I had it there. Okay, it's not there. Sorry. The one in between with the passing of Cliff after, Master of Puppets while they're touring, and everybody knows the story. I won't go into that. That's not what this video is for. Came this one, And Justice for All, notoriously known for the bass or lack thereof, with Newstead on bass now after Cliff is gone. But this is a great album. Tiny little story I'll add with this. When I first met whom is now my wife, my best friend, Jen, she had this on cassette, as well as some Anthrax and Sabbath and you name it. I knew it was a match, and we listened to this thing nonstop. So it's still right up there as one of my favorite albums. And with this, I just went with the title track. It's I don't know if I can say it's my favorite. I have a hard time picking a favorite, but And Justice for All is such a killer track. But they all are. I almost went with Blackened. I could have gone with the mainstays on here, what I consider the mainstays, with their one that most people I would suggest would be familiar with, but it's just such a great album. I mean, the instrumental on here, I mean, everything is from start to finish is excellent. But I'm coming from a point of view of complete bias. I'm not trying to hide that. I'm a Metallica fan, so every song here to me is killer, but I went with And Justice for All. So without further ado, here's a sample of that, and I hope you enjoy. Next up, yes, the Polarizing album. And this is often associated with the point where many either jumped on and were discovering Metallica for the first time, or there was lots of ankles being broken from those who were jumping off the Metallica bandwagon. I don't know. Like I say, I find something good in everything. As much as possible, and this is no different. I actually really like this album. I always have. I remember it clearly when it came out, and yes, of course, I knew immediately, wow, this is a huge departure for Metallica. But that was not by accident. That's something they went into with intention, and amazing that mission accomplished. I mean, this was. I mean, how many albums has this sold? Right? I mean, and no, it's not all about album sales, but if you want to keep making records, you got to sell records. So this one I went with Struggle Within. I just didn't want to go with the Enter Sandman. I mean, as great a song that is, and it is a great song, I think if there were a song on this album that maybe suffers from being overplayed, that might be it. But yet, when I sit here by myself and I put this on, I don't skip them. I don't skip those songs. It's still a great song, but I just want to go with something maybe not so common. I mean, The Unforgiven, Sad But True. I mean, most people will know all the tunes on here because it's by far their biggest selling album. But it is a good album. So, yeah, I went with Struggle Within. So I hope you enjoy. And my honorable mention. Now, I could have went with a lot of others. I'm trying to cover a larger part of their career that spanned. But as I alluded to before, there was a period where Metallica was not quite, didn't have the same energy to me. And I think after the Black Album, I think they were consciously trying to do something different. Or maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe they were trying to maintain what they had captured there. I don't know. But it certainly wasn't the Metallica that I had fallen in love with. That was, our Metallica kind of thing. That whole gatekeeper mentality that honestly, I used to take part in that as a headbanger. If it wasn't a certain sound or a certain band, then I dismissed it. So with Load and Reload, the stuff they did with the symphony and all that, I really like it. And in fact, I like it now much more than I did then. And even with Saint Anger, I bought that on release day, and I do like that. I love that album. But there was something different about those albums. And of course, in hindsight, it's easy to pinpoint what that is or the things they were going through in life and yada, yada, yada. But with this one, I think they really had a return to form in many ways. And with Death Magnetic, it's just such a fantastic album, in spite of, again, a lot of dynamic issues that are so-called, on this album. I don't know. It does suffer, I guess, from that period of where a lot of the loudness was the focus, and the levels were up. This one was the Rick Rubin produced, so I think that's something that Rick Rubin was somewhat notorious for. A lot of those new metal bands and stuff like that. But when this came out, 2008, it was the first album to me that they had recorded, probably since And Justice, or arguably the Black Album, that really captured the Metallica that I had grown up with, I guess, for lack of a better term. So with this one, I chose Broken Beat and Scarred. Again, there's so many songs on here I could have chosen. I really dig Unforgiven 3 on here. That's I mean, for those who are uninitiated, maybe not as familiar, That Was Just Your Life starts it off. The End of the Line, Broken Beat and Scarred, as I alluded to. The Day That Never Comes, which is a great tune. All Nightmare Long, Cyanide, The Unforgiven 3, The Judas Kiss, Suicide and Redemption, which is a great instrumental, and My Apocalypse. But yeah, just to me was a return to form. And for those that are fortunate enough to have it, they released Beyond Magnetic. I do have the compact disc, but I'm not fortunate enough to have that on vinyl. But just a great album, in my opinion. This is all just my opinion. That's all I ever share here on my channel. These videos are just specifically my feelings. And if you don't agree or don't like it, maybe you can just get on your knees and pray that that opinion and wasn't given to you. So whatever. But yeah, Broken Beat and Scarred, I'll drop that. Broken Beat and Scarred, I'll drop that now. I hope you enjoy. And that's it. Those are my 5 plus 1 honorable mention of Metallica songs that maybe are overplayed, even to my standard, I guess, or not to my standard, but in my opinion, being a Metallica fan, I play these songs a lot, and I just don't tire of them. They're all killer tunes, and as I alluded to, some of their other stuff, I could argue that I can take it or leave it a little more, but reality is, I put a Metallica album on, and I don't find myself skipping over tracks. That's just, I guess, consider me, that's part of my fandom. But I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to leave it at that. Those are just 5 plus 1 honorable mention of Metallica songs I never get tired of. I hope to do another one of these soon. And like I say, focusing on artists or maybe even genres with the whatever the genre may be. I'm not big on genres, especially subgenres. I can't even wrap my head around some of it. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, basically, most of the bands that I considered metal then, to me, are still metal. I know there's stuff now that as comparables, they're hard rock or maybe even classic rock to some, but to me, it was metal. It's still metal. That's where it sits in my catalog. And I have a very narrow genre lane, I guess. There's rock, there's hard rock, and there's metal. I don't do country. I don't do a lot of other stuff. I don't do jazz. And I'm not saying anything negative about it. It's just not my wheelhouse. So I hope you enjoy this. Once again, cheers, dedication to all those that you'll know who you were, that you listened to this stuff so much with me in the past. And I hope those who are listening to it with me now enjoy it. And leave a comment below, whether you dig Metallica, you don't dig them, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just a topic of discussion, and I enjoy doing it. So until next time, take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you soon, I hope, here at Twanger's Turntable. See you, everyone. Bye.
We'll see you around. Good night from Metallica.